Play me or I'm gone, says Vlachodimos, as a keeper wants to leave and another one has left. Welcome to your latest Forest news. Good morning, good evening or good night. Hope you guys are doing well and welcome to your latest Nottingham Forest news. In today's video, we'll tell you about a keeper that wants to leave. We'll talk to you about a keeper that has left and we'll give you the latest on Everton. Yes, I know it's a Forest channel, but this is a huge week for Everton, which makes it a big week for Forest. We'll explain all about the PSR stuff going on there. If you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new. And let's kick this off and talk about Vlachodimos. So it's reported now that Vlachodimos is getting unhappy with his lack of game time at Nottingham Forest and has said that if things continue in the way they are, then he will consider his options in the summer and be looking to leave. With Matz Sels coming in, with Turner somehow being ahead of him, Vlachodimos has found himself third in the pecking order. And this isn't really what he expected when he turned up at the City ground in the summer transfer window. Now, we can all sit here and debate goalkeepers, and we've done so what feels like week in, week out, day in, day out. But in the last week or so, we haven't had to so much because Sels has been okay. Am I convinced yet by Sels? Not 100%, not 100%. I mean, he's still letting 3 goals in the last match, but compared to Turner, I'm a lot calmer about him. But I'm still unsure about Vlachodimos. I still do believe there's a decent goalkeeper in there. What we do know though is in his previous club there was some animosity between him and the manager, so this isn't unusual behaviour for Vlachodimos. Now that wasn't necessarily linked around game time, but let's just say he can be known to have a bit of a fiery character about him. I don't mind that. I actually would prefer a player kicking off because they're not getting game time rather than a player being comfortable sitting on the bench and just, counting his pounds as they come in for doing nothing all week. So I actually don't mind that attitude at all too much. But he has to prove himself if he wants to get the shirt. Now, Sels is currently Forest number 1, although technically, I don't know if we have a number 1, but it's up for grabs. It's up for grabs. As long as Sels performs, then Vlachodimos and Turner won't get a sniff in goal. And that would actually ease my mind. However, I've said it when we signed Sels. I still feel at some point this season, Vlachodimos will end up at number 1 because I'm still just not that convinced that Sels is the long-term answer. Forest have wasted so much money on goalkeepers, it's ridiculous over the last 2 seasons. But if it makes you lot feel any better, Dean Henderson's having a bit of a nightmare time at Crystal Palace himself. He doesn't seem to be able to save anything. His distribution still isn't great. So maybe we did dodge a bullet with Dean Henderson. And as we know, he is also very injury prone currently. So the goalkeeper saga continues, more drama coming out of this one, and more drama as we've had a goalkeeper sale as well, and that is George Shelvey. Now I was a little surprised at this one. He's gone over to Ireland and he's left on a permanent deal to Dundalk. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. My Irish brothers and sisters, tell me how to pronounce it properly. But I'm a little surprised at this one because honestly, from the limited time, and I'll admit that I've seen of Shelby, I've thought he's very competent in goal. Didn't scare me. And that tends to be my number 1 criteria for a goalkeeper. Don't scare me. Don't let me notice you. Just carry on doing your business without me noticing you, and I'm quite happy. Now, he did get quite a few games in the pre-season under Cooper, and all of them I thought he did okay in. And you look at him and you think, this keeper has potential and probably has time to develop. At 22, 23 years old, he's still very young in goalkeeping terms. Now, what we don't know is what the fee was for him. I can't imagine it would be quite high, especially the size of the club he's gone to. But I'm surprised that they did this as a permanent deal. Maybe because the window's closed, maybe because it's another one off the books, but Forest squad size in less than a week has gone from 25 named, obviously there's the under 21s, to a 24-man squad. And maybe there'll be one or two others that leave at the moment. But what are your thoughts on George Shelvey? Would you have liked him to stick around at the City Ground? And did you think potentially he had a future ahead of him? Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so let's move on to the most important Nottingham Forest story, which ironically enough doesn't involve Nottingham Forest, and that covers off Everton. This is a huge week for Everton as they are set to find out what's going to happen on their appeal. Now, let me just remind you, Everton got docked 10 points, and that's been instated by the Premier League. This is their appeal against their first sanction of the 10 points. Everton then were found again in breach of PSR alongside Nottingham Forest. That's separate. That hasn't been sorted out. So why is this so important? Because I think there are three options. Either they tell them, no, we were right, your points deduction remains the same, or they reduce it to maybe 6, maybe 4-point deduction, or they say, you know what, you got a good case here, and we're just going to reinstate your 10 points. For Nottingham Forest, in my opinion, Everton being reinstated their full points tally is probably, I would say, the best scenario. Why? Because Everton having 10 points deducted sets a precedent for the Premier League or the independent body that's looking at this to then say to Forest, well, you know, nice case, Nick, you've done a great job, but the problem is Everton were charged and we have to be shown as being fair and equal. Now, the other argument, if you wanted to look at it on the other side, is, okay, if Everton's 10 points gets held up, so they keep the 10-point deduction, and then they get another 10 points for their second breach, and Forest get another 10 points as well, then at least we keep Everton behind us. But I just don't think that's the best scenario. Maybe some of you guys do. Let me know in the comments down below which you think would be the best scenario. But we will keep you posted on this. It's expected anytime, I think, before Friday. And I just think, for me, at least a reduction would be a good sign for Nottingham Forest, especially with all the pressure we've been putting on. I'm not just talking about FFTV, but the fan base, the Everton fan base, a lot of the other 14 clubs as well that aren't the big six. It's going to be hard, I think, for those points to be upheld. And I do see Everton getting at least 4 points back. Because it's the whole Man City thing. It's the whole Big Six thing. It's the whole favoritism. It's what Richard Masters was saying, that we are small clubs and all this crap. They can't now be seen to be punishing small clubs when the likes of Man City are still getting away with it. Also, if there is a Big Six agenda, which I firmly believe there is, if they're not going to dish out a huge punishment for Man City, we will chuck whatever punishment we get back in their face. So they have to set a precedent from now that will allow them to protect their beloved Big Six. And I don't know, I'm just hoping that against hope that both the charges get written off and we can get on and focusing on football. Because at the moment, it just feels like whatever result Forest get, if we look ahead to the West Ham game, and if Forest win, and then they go and beat, we got next Villa, for example, and you look at it and you think, cool, that's 6 points. We're shooting up the table. Oh yeah, wait, we're probably getting point deductions. So it's very unnerving at the time, and I'm sure it's playing on not just my mind, but a lot of the other Forest fan base's mind as well, in terms of the fans. So we need this one to go away. Now, there's a lot of people, and there's been a lot of clickbait stories I've seen this week. Forest are in huge trouble in comparison, excuse me, to Everton, 112 million more. All this clickbait BS, it's all rubbish. We are lining up some guest speakers next week who have a real understanding in this segment, more so than we do. We're all, at the moment, everyone seems to be, you know, social media accountant. So keep an eye out for that, and we'll keep you posted on exactly what to expect with Nottingham Forest. But this is huge for Forest, and we'll let you know as soon as it's broken and what the details are. And that, my friends, brings you up to date with your latest Nottingham Forest news. To be honest, quite a slow day for news. For once, it's nice not to have a lot of drama surrounding Nottingham Forest, but the day is still young. and we will let you know if anything else breaks. So please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you're new. If you could do me a massive favour and go subscribe to our second channel, the Footy Network, the link for it and videos are on the end screen, so make sure you go check those out. We'll see you on the next video, and come on you Reds.